Hello, my Teaserking family. That took about 30 seconds to go live. Usually it's instant. How's everybody today? Happy Sunday. Well, let's look at yesterday's games. Lost on the 49ers, had San Diego over, W, Oakland, W, the Oakland Lock, the Oakland Lock under 8, W. Detroit under, W. Milwaukee, loser. The Lock of Toronto over 8, loser. Cincinnati over 8, loser. Houston, loser. Win with the Yankees under, win with the Mets, win with the Colorado Lock, lose with Arizona, win with California, and win with the Philadelphia over 8. So why do I lose some locks? It's usually these over-unders. I don't usually lose the team. Like yesterday, the lock of Colorado, that worked out really well. But the Toronto, a big hitting team, they play a low-scoring game. And the same thing with Cincinnati with no pitching. Give up 6 runs a game on their bullpen, and then they play a 3-2 game. So that's what happens. That's why it's percentages, and that's what you're dealing with is percentages on the average, right? So the ERA is 6.0. Doesn't mean, that's an average. So some games it might be 2 and some will be 8, and it'll average to 6. So that's what you got to look at. And that's why you incrementally bet and money manage and that. And again, baseball, what we're dealing a lot with is averages and then the pitcher's ERA. So you're hoping the pitcher who gives up 9 runs a game gives up 9 runs a game, or what should be a high scoring game. And the same thing with you got an ace who gives up 1.5 runs a game. Did I have it under? Well, it did work with the Yankees in Oakland and Detroit, where they had good pitching and they kept the game under. Anyway, we'll take a look at baseball today. Anything, please let me know. Let's talk about my poker night. I play poker and gold and stuff. So yesterday, first hand or second hand, it was pretty quick into it. I get king, queen of hearts, and I don't know who I'm in with, right? I just sat down, and this guy, I think he raised it to 10, and I called because it's king, queen of hearts. Let's see how the night's going. And flop comes king, like 6 of hearts, 4 of clubs. So I got a pair of kings, so I bet 15 or 20 just to get a feel of what's going on. And he calls me, doesn't raise. Then the turn comes the ace of hearts. And because I bet he called, I don't even realize I'm on a flush draw now. I'm like, I was afraid of the ace, but I didn't think he's calling me like with an ace and a jack, and he's hoping to hit the ace. I mean, you fold that after the flop. If you have an ace and a 5 and you don't hit the ace on the flop and there's a bet to you, you're going to fold it. So ace of hearts comes, I check, and I think he bets a small amount. He doesn't bet a lot. He bets 10 or 15. Then the river comes, 2 of hearts. All of a sudden, I backdoored a flush, and not only a flush, a nut flush. I think there was ace 2, 5 of hearts on the board. But I wasn't worried he was in there with the 3, 4 of hearts. I'm not worried about that. So so I check it. So I have the flush, check it. Because I don't know what's going on, but he's a pretty aggressive guy. So he bets, I don't know if he bet 35, 45. It didn't matter. He put out a green that says 25. Let's say he bet 40. I come back with 200. I got the nut flush. There's nothing that can beat me. There's no pair on board, so I'm not worried about a full house. So I got the nut. I got ace, king, queen of hearts, and the 5 and the deuce. And he hems and haws, and he looks at me, and I don't give you nothing. I'm staring at the chips. And he goes, I'll call. And he turns over kings and 5s, let's say. So he had flopped the 2 pair, but he let me catch. And So I win not quite 200 because when I went for 200, I don't think he had 200. He just went all in. I think it was probably, I know I had 5 greens when the hand was over. So, and he had thrown in one. So I won probably 150 on him on the river. I probably won close to 200 on that hand. Well, my thought is I'm ready to get up and leave because I'm there to win, and I've just won to roughly. Let's say I won 175. I don't think he could call the whole 200. So I'm ready to leave, and it's weird how your psychology changes. When I first sit down and I get the king queen, he makes it. I don't even think about it. I'm playing. Let's see what happens. Now you're ahead. Let's call it 175. Your whole momentum, your whole idea is shifted. Now it's like, well, I don't want to see a $20 bet unless I got a good hand or, I got aces or ace king and I hit the ace or king. I don't want to risk it with, maybe I need 2 cards to get there. So today's class, Tokyo, is how to play with the lead. And that's a big difference. And I see that in golf a lot. The guy has a 5-shot lead and he doesn't want to get a bogey. What he should be trying to do is get more birdies. Right? Let me get 2 more birdies and it's all over. But that's a different animal. But it's the psychology of playing from ahead. It happens in football. That's why we like betting the underdogs, because the team with the lead relaxes because they're winning and they don't want to screw up and give away the lead. So what do? They run the ball into the line. They don't want to take the chances. But if the team's trailing, what do? They're throwing the ball all over the field. They need to score. It's also my theory in the NBA playoffs and basically all playoffs. Football doesn't work because it's a one-gamer, so both teams' backs against the wall. Basketball backs against the wall. Teams down 2-0, like Philly and Miami, back against the wall. They have to win, but the other team's back is not against the wall. They're playing with the lead. They don't want to screw up. The other team's playing out of desperation, must win. That's the difference. So in poker, I'm playing with the lead. In my mind, I've got the lead. I'm up 175. My goal is just, it's not to lose. I play 300. It's not to lose the 300. It's to win. My goal is to win at the end of the night, and I'm hoping it's as much as I can. I mean, I'm hoping for $5,000, but it depends on the circumstances. So when I win the first hand like that, now I'm up 175. The guy next to me, he had to buy in again, so I wiped him out. He now has to get more aggressive because he's trying to win his money back. He's losing. And I'm sitting there, and he's to my left, which you don't want a guy like that to your left unless you've got the flush. Then you want him to your left because he's aggressive. So you can check and conceal your hand like I did. He says, I didn't put you on a flush. And I go, I know, obviously. I put you on the king, and I go, yeah. And I wasn't worried about the ace, but when the flush came, I was concealed. I didn't bet the flush on the river. Now that's one of my tells that I tell you on the river. If I have the flush, I'm going to bet it. But because I knew he was aggressive and he was betting anyway, I knew he was going to bet for me. So that's the only caveat, and it's got to be heads up, where I'm going to check my flush on the river, knowing it's the best, because I know he's aggressive and he's been betting. I know he's going to bet. He bet the turn. There's 3 hearts out there, but it came heart, and then it was heart, runner on the end. So if 2 hearts flopped, he would have thought flush. But because it was 1 heart and I'm betting, he can't put me on 3 hearts. And then when the ace of hearts comes, I check because I'm worried about the ace and I got kings. So it's very well played by me. Understanding my opponent was a little aggressive. Now I get to the next hands. I probably stayed an hour, but the next hands then come in where he's a great, it's $15 to call. And I'm like, I don't play that. I like 1-2 because I like to see the flops like I did. And I got king, queen, and I get the king. I don't like to see $15 flops with 8-7 of diamonds. I don't think that's a good play. I got a hit. It's going to cost me. I'm not going to flop a straight or a flush. I'm going to have to work for it, and it's going to cost me $50, $60, which I don't want to risk. See, that's the thing. When you're up, you don't want to risk it. When you're down, you want to see those flops and hit it. And that's the whole psychology of trying to be a winner, trying to work ahead, doing all that. That's really the psychology of it, is trying to figure out how to play it. Now, I'm kind of left with playing aces, kings, queens, and jacks. There's even a hand that was bet like 15 and then up to 30. And I got like a pair of nines. And I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I'm behind. I've got to hit the 9 on the flop or I'm done. So I folded. Yes, it's a good play from the lead because you're going to give away $50 or $40, whatever, and hope you hit the 9 on the flop. There's only 2 9s left. And if you don't hit it, you're screwed. If you hit it, yeah, you're going to win big. But when you're up, you're not looking at that risk. You don't want to take that risk. It's like football. When we get up, when we have a good Saturday and Georgia's under and Michigan's under and all that, and we're up $1,000 going into Sunday, the last thing I want to do is bet $1,500 on Sunday. I don't want to give back the 1,000. So there's a mentality when you're winning to not give it back. You want to quit a winner. That's the point of it. That's why you gamble. It's not gambling. It's like, why am I telling you to buy gold? Because the dollar is going to go away. The euro is going to go away. The yen's going away. Now they're going to be replaced with some other currency, but it's going to have less value. So I'm giving us a no-brainer. Buy gold because you can't lose with it. And if it comes close to what repricing is going to be, then because we're going to have to compete with the ruble, because if the ruble has got gold attached to it, everybody's going to want the ruble. If everybody wants the ruble, nobody wants the dollar. The dollar is not the lead currency anymore. The only reason the dollar is the lead currency because it's for the petrol, for the gas from Saudi Arabia. When you bought gas from Saudi Arabia, you had to pay them in U.S. dollars, and we would protect them. So Biden comes in, stops protecting them, and look who comes into them. Russia says, "We'll protect you, but let's do gas and rubles now." And that's what's happening. So now the U.S. is no longer the lead currency. So get out of the U.S. currency because they print it like Topps baseball cards. And so I'm protecting us with, okay, you got 50 grand, you've won. You've got 50 grand in the bank, you're winning. You don't want to give it back, right? That's the worst feeling in the world. I had 50 grand, now I got 0. Well, that's where you're headed, is you're going to have 0 because it's going to lose all its value. So I get you out of that. And I said, go into gold and silver. You'll keep your 50 grand. And in fact, if they reprice it at 87,000 an ounce, but let's say 50, 60,000 an ounce. Now you've replayed it cost you $2,000 to get a 50. That's a great idea. So in poker or golf or football, how do you protect the lead? You take risk out of it. So I played a hand with an ace jack. Now it becomes, how much does it cost me to get in the hands? For $2, there was very few $2 pots because the guy next to me on my left would raise it to 12. He'd raise it to 10. So it was always going to cost you $10 or $12. No matter what he had, he's trying to get back. He's trying to get to even. He's aggressive. He thinks he comes to the table, and this is what you have to read, and this is what I'm trying to explain. You have to play the player. So when I had the flush, what did I do? I played the player. He's aggressive. He's been betting. He obviously has a king. Like I had king, queen, and I felt pretty safe. And then the ace hit. And I'm betting, and he called. And then the turn came, and I think we just checked it down. And then when the river came is when he made his bet. But then I caught my flush. So had he bet 100 on the turn, I probably would have folded, even though I had 4 hearts. It's a big risk. Well, maybe I would have called if he bet at maybe 25 or 20. I might have called for the flush. But then it would be obvious if the heart hits, I got the flush. But anyway, so that's what you're looking for. If I catch the flush, will I get paid off? So now that I'm winning and it's $20 and I maybe have ace jack, or I have a pair of 9s or a pair of 4s, do I want to see a $40 pre-flop? Probably not, because I know I have to hit the third one. When it's that high of a pre-flop, you're putting somebody on a big pair. Well, my 4s are going to lose against the big pair. Maybe they got ace king, but then again, if an ace or king hits, I'm screwed. So you've got to play, and I was playing to protect my lead. And I think the only hand I got aggressive, I had pocket jacks, and then I came out with 15. Guy called me. It was a low flop, 10-9-2. I made it 25, and the guy folded. And that was it. I mean, otherwise, I played an ace jack, but again, that wasn't expensive. But if it was $25 to see a flop, unless I had ace king or aces, kings, or queens, I'm probably not seeing it, because there was another hand, me against the same guy. And I had a decent hand. I think I even had ace king or something like that. No, I don't think it was ace king, but it was pretty strong. And it's just me and him. And I saw the $2, and he made it like 11 or 15. And I folded, and I looked at him, and I said, "It's not worth it. It's just me and you. I can't get anything out of you." Now, if I hit my ace or king, but I don't know where I'm at. He told me he showed me a 10. He had a pair of 10s. And I think I had ace king or ace queen. And okay, if an ace or king flops, what's he going to do? He's going to fold. Well, he's not going to fold, but if I bet 50, he probably folds. If an ace flops and not a 10, so if it comes ace, 9-4, and now I got the ace, I lead out with 35. Or what do I do? Maybe I check and let him keep betting, not showing that I hit my ace, but I don't know where I stand. So that's what happens. But because it was just me and him, there was no value in it for me. If I don't catch, I'm just giving away $15. If I do catch, there's only me and him in the pot. There's no like, you want 3 or 4 guys in the pot, and then when you bet 15, you get 4 callers. Now there's 60 in the pot. So you're getting multiplication. You're getting odds. You're getting 4-to-1 on your money, right? You bet 15. Now there's 60. But with 1-and-1, I bet 15. He calls. I could only win 15. I saw no point in playing the hand with Mr. Aggressive to my left, because I didn't know how much can I win, but versus the risk. And I really didn't want to risk it. So there was one hand, I think I've had ace jack. I played was 20. He made it $20 or something. And I saw that, and there was 4 or 5 players in. And me and the fellow next to me both had ace jack. And there was, I think, a king and a 10 out there. We needed a queen or something, but it didn't come. But it was like checked and checked and checked. So, I didn't lose any more. So I played a few hands, but not. I'd have a pair of 7s, and it was $20 to me, and it was like raised and re-raised, or raised and called. And another guy, I probably didn't play it because I knew I needed the 7, and I didn't want to risk it. So again, it's, and I end up winning 133 last night, and I was very happy with that. Because But it was all like the first hand I won 175. And I said to I was like, I should get up and leave. That's the whole point. If I started and I was down $20 and then down $50 and down $75 and boom, boom, boom. And then I won 175 at the end of the night, I'd be really happy. And I'm thinking I won it on the first hand. It's almost like get up and leave. You've won. You've done what you wanted to do. I don't try to win 1,000. I have won 1,000, but it's getting pocket aces again and hitting quads again and all that stuff. So it makes for an interesting game. I allow myself to, I didn't get pocket aces, pocket kings. I think I got one ace king, which I think I played. And then and that was it. Now, again, I'm playing with the lead, not normal play. So if you're at the table and you're trying to read me, good luck, because I'm going to play differently behind than I am with the lead. So you have no idea how I play, but yet I was in Vegas once and I'm playing, and I was, maybe a half hour, and some guy blurts out, which you never do, but he did. And he said, "Oh, I got your game down. I know how you play." And I'm like, after a half hour, you know how I play? Like, really? So you think I only play aces and kings and I fold everything else? Because I was when I get 2-7, I fold it. I don't know who plays those, but when you sit down, it's all streaks. So if you sit down and it's 2-9 and it's 2-7 and it's 3-jack and it's 4-8 and it's 2-7, I'm folding all those hands. And if you think you know me because I'm throwing away junk, you're out of your mind. I'll sit there and check an ace king, and sometimes I'll bet the ace king, and sometimes what did we talk my last week? I have ace king and the king flops, or no, the ace flops. So I got aces with the king. I played that hand totally differently in that hand than I would have in a different hand. You can't say you know my game after playing with me for 15 minutes, assuming because I got terrible cards and I folded them that I only play aces and kings. The next night I might play 9-10 of diamonds because it's a lot of it's what's it costing me to get in the pot. $2, I don't care. $20, you lose a bunch of $20 hands. Now you're down 100. You got to catch that flush, but there's a lot of risk. I was behind in that hand that I won. I had kings and he had kings and fives. Now, because he had kings and fives, he paid me off. But my kings were in trouble. Even though I had king, queen, he's got me killed. And if I don't get lucky on the river, but because I made the initial bet, the $10 bet on the flop, he just saw it. And then I checked the turn. I think he just bet $10. He didn't bet a lot either. He didn't know what I had. Then when the river comes, I've caught the flush. It only costed me 20 or 30 bucks. And I let out on the first one because I had the pair of kings with the queen kicker. So I'm going, cool, I got kings with the queen. And then now when he bets the river, I have no idea he's got two pair, but I'm hoping he's got a flush because I got the king and queen of hearts. But he just had two pair. And he tells me I didn't put you on the flush. And I go, how could you have? I mean, nobody could put me on a flush. The question he didn't ask is, did I bet $200 on the river? Because we just sat down, does he think I'm bluffing? Like, who would bet 200 on the river, with the flush? You'd have maybe raised it to 100 to just, I think he bet let's say he bet 45. Well, most people maybe would have bet 100 or 100 and a quarter to get a call. I made it 200, hoping for a call. And so he didn't put me on the flush because I bet so much, which I did on purpose. So again, knowing he's aggressive, knowing he's probably going to call me, not knowing what he had, I didn't know if he had ace king or I didn't know he had two. I thought he hit the king with me, or why else is he calling? There's no flush or straight draw on the board. So I'm not worried about it. But when I catch the flush and I had to relook and I go, yeah, I got the king, queen of hearts. There's now the ace, five, and two of hearts on the board. I've got the flush and the ace is out. I got the king, queen. I can't lose. So I'm sitting there. That's obviously you got to take advantage of that. I had the right player. I had a guy who had already bet 35 or 40 on me, and I had checked it because he's aggressive. So he bets 40. I make it 200. He's figuring, oh, he checked. He doesn't have, he's just bluffing me. So he's probably putting me on a bluff because it was 200. And, I very rarely bluff like that. Against an aggressive player, it's hard to bluff an aggressive player because he's going to call you. So I can't bluff and then I get a call and I lose. So you got to be careful who you bluff. You can bluff a tight player. You can't bluff an aggressive player because the aggressive player is aggressive. It's going to probably call you. And the idea of the bluff is I'm going to make a bet to get you to fold. Well, I bet 200 and the guy had two pair and he called, which is even better. But that's the idea of bluffing is to get that, is to get the guy to fold. But if the guy's aggressive like that, he's not going to, you're never going to get him to fold. So especially when he leads out with the bet. If he bets 45, he's not going to, I'm going to raise him. He's not going to fold, especially the way it came. Runner, heart, heart. He can't put me on a flush. He can only put me on a flush if two hearts hit the flop. But one heart hit the flop, then it came heart, heart, turn, and river. He can't put me on the flush. He's got two pair he thinks is good. He must have had kings and fives, and then the river was, I think, the two of hearts. So even if I caught two pair, he's figuring, well, he's got kings and twos. I got kings and fives. So he thinks he's going to win. Anyway, so then I kind of played it tight the rest of the night with my lead, waiting for maybe flopping a set. That's what I was hoping. That's how you really win big. Like you have a pair of sevens. He has aces or ace king. It's a $15 flop, so you see it. And then if you hit the set, then you can win another big hand. And that's what that was about the only way I was wanting to get involved would be to then flop the set. Because otherwise, it was an aggressive table. I mean, this guy's raising to 11 or 15 every hand almost. So it became I'm not going to play because I'm not going to keep putting in a lot of money and then praying that I hit. I want to come in already there. And, the rest of the table was fairly, they would call. So it was somewhat aggressive. It's good if you're catching good hand. If you get aces, then it's a great table. Or if you flop a set, a sevens, it's a great table. But otherwise, it's a tough, you don't want to give it back. So like in golf, like in football, they don't want to screw the lead, but when they need the score, they'll get the score. And that's what happened. That's like Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. They'd get down and he'd bring them back. But then once they got the lead, then they start running the ball. And you're going, why are you running it? They can't stop your passing. And then you got the lead, and then it's handed off because they don't want to throw the interception. They want to just run the clock because now they're trying to protect the lead. And that's what I was trying to do. So that's lesson learned. And we do it in football. When I have a big Saturday and the Georgia Lock wins and all the other games, I don't want to give it back on Sunday. I did that once. I was a kid. I don't know. I was still at the grocery store. So I was 17, 18 years old. And I hit them all on Saturday. I won $1,700 in 1978, 79. And that's real money back then. And I hit 1,700. And then on Sunday, I lost back like 1,000. I had a terrible Sunday. And I still won. I think I won $800 for the week. And I was so mad that I had given up 800 because I won so much on Saturday that 800 didn't mean anything. It was already 1,700 to only win 8 is depressing. So even if I would have won 2,500, it didn't mean anything. The 1,700 was gold. back then when that was real money. So I learned then when you got the lead, when you've won a lot, you don't want to give it back. There's no sicker feeling for a professor or you guys to get up $1,000 and give it back. That's the worst feeling because you're up, you win, you've done it, you are a winner. And then to give it back is the cardinal sin. So you get that, you got the hard part, you won the grand. Now you want to, okay, at worst I'm winning 600. I'm going to bet small on Sunday and take my winnings and only bet really strong, lock type of games. And that's what happened. Now once in a while, I get that really big rush where I hit the college and I hit the pro and I hit everything. I had one of those too. Roger Staubach was on Dallas. They were playing the Giants in the 70s. And I had really cleaned up on Saturday. And then I was having one of those Sundays where I was winning everything. And I was working and I came into the car to hear it on the radio. And I said, man, I hope Danny White's in the game. If Danny White's in the game, I know they're killing the Giants. And they needed the game. It was probably a late November, early December game. And sure enough, Danny White's the quarterback, and Dallas is up 38-0. And that was it. I had won everything. It was one of those weeks where even winning the college and then I won all the pros, it was just amazing. And I go off like that. I have those streaks where I just, I'm on fire. But anyway, so that's the lesson learned. In the poker, watch who you're playing with. You got to learn that. I knew the guy next to me was going to bet. So when I get the flush and I kind of looked, he's grabbing chips and he was aggressive on the turn. He's betting and I check. I know he's going to bet. Even though it was first or second hand, I could see he was kind of an aggressive player. So I'm checking to let him hang himself, and he comes out with 35, and I was in heaven. And then I made it. But that's what you need to do. In my world, I want to bet that 200 when I've got the nut flush. I got the nuts. There's no set on board. There's no pair. There's no way you can have a full house. There's no way he can beat me. So that's what I want to do. And that's really that's how you play it. You got to know the guy next to you. You got to know whoever's in the hand with you, what's he going to do? Now, if it was a tighter player, I would have came out with $25 and then he'd have called. I've had those players, but this guy was aggressive. So you use that against him and you let him check 35 or 40, then 200. And then he doesn't put you on the flush because you checked. And then I guess he thinks you're bluffing him. He looked at me and then he still put the money in. And I just sat there like, okay, I got the nut flush. I don't know what, good luck trying to beat that. I go, what, did you have a set? And no, I had two pair. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Thank you very much for giving me my money. So again, you've got to watch the player. Is he tight? Is he loose? Is he aggressive? Does he bet? You're at a 1-2 table and he's betting 15 every hand. You're like, why don't you go to the 2-5 table and do that? What are you doing it at a 1-2 table for? But again, the 1-2 is just the pre-flop antes. It's not. It doesn't mean it's a cheap table because it's still no limit. So I bet 200. So I bet I'm at a 1-2 table and I bet 200. Why do I like the 1-2 tables? Because I like to see the flop for $2 and then do what I do. If I hit, great. If I miss, it's only cost me 200 and I get more hands. That's the idea of the 1-2. It's not a cheap thing. It's I get to see the flop cheaply. And the more flops I see, the better my chances of winning because I'm going to outplay these guys. Because I'm a professor and I know what to look for and how to read it. And I went there yesterday saying, nobody's check raising me. Be very careful. But I made sure I had enough rest and I was very confident yesterday. And my friend said, aren't you going Friday? And I go, it's Friday the 13th. I am not touching poker Friday the 13th. Saturday is the 14th. It's double 7 days, so I would definitely do that, but I didn't want to play the 13th. All right, so that's your poker lesson. Again, read the players. The players will tell you what they're doing. Some players are kind of aggressive without hands. They'll have like 4 diamonds and they'll bet, or they'll have an ace king and they'll bet, even though it's not a hand. They're hoping they hit it, but it's not, so be careful of those guys too. All right, let's get to baseball. And let's see what we can find. We'll update our stats today. I think I updated on Tuesday or Wednesday. I had Philly over 8 in the game, and the score at the end of the 6th inning is 8-3 Philadelphia. I love the overs that go over in the 5th inning. All right, let's go to Sunday. Wow, San Diego, Atlanta. What time did they start at? It's already 0-0, the first inning. Okay. All right, 1:35. So we got an hour and a half. I will end this with time for people who aren't watching to get the picks. Houston and Washington. Washington today. Here we go. This first lock. Houston is a lock. Why is Houston a lock? Without even looking at anything. Because Justin Verlander is on the mound with his 1.55 ERA against Patrick Corbin. 0-5 with a 6.06 ERA, Lock City. That's exactly, and I use this exact example at the poker table. I'm talking to one of my friends. I says, I got baseball figured out. It's the ERAs. I said, well, let's say Justin Verlander is pitching against Joe Smith. You bet Verlander. And I said, if he's pitching against Kershaw, you play the under. And if it's Joe Smith against Bob Smith, and they both have 6 ERAs, you go over. I go, that's all. And I'm probably about 80% on this stuff. I have a few losers that don't make sense. It's average. And that's when I went to batting averages at home and on the road. So let's look. This game is in Washington. Houston only hits 216 on the road, and Washington only hits 191 at home. So this should be another shutout for Verlander. The over-under is 8. I would take it under also, but Houston's hitting the ball, so I'm just gonna take Verlander. This is like betting on Tom Brady. You bet the pitcher, you bet the quarterback. Okay, the Bengals and the Steelers over under 8.5. Hunter Green sounds like a quarterback on LSU. 1-5 with a 7.62 ERA against Jose Quintana. 1-1 with a 2.70 ERA. We're going to take Pitt. We're not going to lock it. Well, let's see if we should lock it. Cincinnati, terrible team. Terrible ERA, 6.27 ERA. But yesterday, Pittsburgh didn't hit them. Why? Pittsburgh's batting is, they hit 242 at home. So it's surprising that Pitt didn't score more runs yesterday off of this wonderful 6.27 ERA for Cincinnati's bullpen. And Cincinnati hits a whole 190. Pitt hits 242. Pitt's bullpen's 380, so it's not bad. So it's a very confusing. That's what gets confusing is that now, do you want to lock Jose Quintana against Hunter Green? No, I'm just going to play Pittsburgh. Take Pitt, and that's it. 2-7 against the 7-6. Pitt should score. Cincinnati's just so bad. Baltimore and Detroit. We got Wells 1-2 with a 3.75 against Skubal, 2-2 with a 2.94 ERA. Pretty even, a little edge to Detroit there. Detroit's won the first 2 in the series. I know that because I live here and I heard that. Baltimore 3.93 ERA on the road batting average 220. Well, so's their home batting average. They don't hit a lot. We got Detroit, who hits 234 at home with a 2.8. So they got a really good bullpen. So they're going to keep Baltimore low scoring. 7-5. I'm going to go under in this game. So let's go Detroit under. And it's 7.5. I'm saying I'm on Yahoo Sports. I'm not on scores and odds for this because I can see the pitchers and the ERAs here. Scores and odds, I can't. It's funny how some of them they don't give you the pitchers and ERAs. I'm going to go under just because Detroit's got a good bullpen. The Scooble, low ERA. Baltimore's lineup sucks. Detroit isn't much better. They got so many guys that don't hit 200. It's just, what are they doing in the major league? How are you sitting there as a general manager? And I know the Tigers' Al Avila is as bad as the Lions' general manager. How do you sit there and see a guy on your lineup at 120 and say, "Oh yeah, that's my guy"? How do you do like that? Guy's gone. I mean, I'll give you like 20 games, and if you're hitting 120, you're gone. Go play basketball or something. You're not a baseball player. You can either hit or you can't. If you're hitting 120, and I played baseball and I could hit, and hitting's about feel. It's not about seeing. You never see the ball. It's going too fast. You feel the ball. And I never saw my bat hit the ball ever, and I hit very good. And even in softball, you never saw the bat hit the ball. You'd see the ball coming, and then you'd swing where the ball's at, and I'd crush it. I had that ability of feeling the ball. That's what I do with most of my stuff. I'm a feel person. I feel these games. I feel the football. I just know what's going to happen. Seattle and the Jets. We had the Jets yesterday. They got the W for us. Robbie Ray for Seattle, 4.22 ERA against Carlo Carrasco. I think he was on Cleveland, wasn't he? 3-1 with a 3.19. So it's not the greatest pitching duel as far as, let's play the Mets. Now the Mets are a good team. Seattle, they only hit 204 in a row with a 3.79, and I think the Mets are 258 with the 3.62. So the ERAs and the bullpen are similar. The starting pitchers are a little bit of an edge to Carrasco. I'm taking the Mets. They've been hot lately. They're at home. Seattle, West Coast, East Coast. It's a 140 game, so that's 1040 for Seattle. Yeah, let's take the Mets. They've been playing really well. Milwaukee and Miami, I have no idea. Either I had Milwaukee yesterday. Miami puts up 14 runs. You're like, you're looking at, why did I choose it? And it made perfect sense. Here I have Woodruff for Milwaukee, 5.97 ERA against Hernandez for Miami, 6.37 ERA. Over under 7.5. This is a lock. Miami over 7.5. Lock. 2 week of pitching. So let's go to the bullpens. Miami, a 3.08 bullpen. They hit 252 at home. Milwaukee, they hit 222 with a 3.19 ERA. But after what I saw yesterday with 14 runs, it was very high scoring. And it tends to, when people start hitting, they keep hitting. And 7.5, I don't get that line at all. I mean, you got a 6.26 ERA pitchers. What do you 7.5? 7.5. Let's look at the Verlander line. The Houston Washington total is 8, and you got Verlander going, right? What is that? You got an ace against the 6. We take the ace, but the over/under is 8. Here you got Miami, Milwaukee, 2 6s in it. The over/under 7.5. You're like, what the finest? Toronto and Tampa Bay. What did we have yesterday? We had Toronto over 8 and a lock, and it lost. So this was not high scoring yesterday and ain't going to be high scoring today. Toronto has Manoah, 1.75 ERA against Springs, 2.12 ERA. I am going to play T-Bay under, and this under 7.5. Now, how is my Milwaukee, Miami with pitchers of 5.97 and 6.37, a 7.5 over under, and Toronto, Tampa, a 1.75 pitcher and a 2.12 pitcher over under 7.5. Okay, they don't get it. it's based on the pitching. If Verlander shuts you out, that's the pitching. Why in the hell would the ERA, would the over-unders be the same for both games when the pitching on one game is ridiculous, minor league, and the other one is superstar? This guy's 4-0 with the 1.75 ERA against a 1-1 with the 2.12 ERA. There's no other way to bet it. You can't necessarily bet the 1.75 against the 2.12. So this is clearly, and yesterday you had the high ERA pitchers going, and the lock of over 8 didn't come in. So they're not hitting. This game should be a low-scoring affair. I'm taking Tampa Bay under 7.5 and strong. I won't call it a lock, but I will call it strong. Houston. So that's the second. The first lock's Verlander. The second lock's the Miami over. This is like a lock junior. Tampa Bay under 7.5. Bet it's strong. The Yanks and the White Sox. I believe the White Sox won the game. Let's see. I won with New York under 9 yesterday, but I think the White Sox won. Cortez 1-1 with a 1.41. Oh, here's another lock. Oh my God. New York Yankees under 8. What, are you kidding me? Under 8. This is a lock. All right, Howard, why are you locking it? Because the pitchers are Cortez with a 1.41 ERA against Kopech with a 0.93 ERA. Let's look at the bullpen. All right, the White Sox 3.36 ERA. They hit 2.14 at home. The Yankees with the great ERA 2.77 and Chapman, and they hit 2.25 on the road. It's a beautiful. This is like a very strong lock, and it's 8. It's not 6.5 or 6. This is freaking 8. These lines are ridiculous. So Miami, Milwaukee with the 5.97 and the 6.37 pitchers is 7.5, and the Yankees, White Sox a 1.41 and a 0.93 ERAs, and it's 8. What the fuck? Thank you very much. Take this game, lock it under 8. Oh my God. And I like sometimes I like playing the over-unders because you'll get the upset, right? The White Sox will win 2-1, and you would have bet the Yankees, so you don't lose with the Yankees. And then all of a sudden, like yesterday, I liked the Yankees. Under was a better play. He had good pitching, and it was under 9, and I got the win, even though the White Sox won. I then realized, well, wait, it was low scoring, and so this game will be extremely low scoring. And a lot of times on Sunday, the managers rest their stars, where they give them a day off on Sunday because Monday's usually a travel day. And so they end up where, okay, I'll give the guy off Sunday and he's off Monday and let him get rested. And that tends to happen. And I've noticed this in Sparky Anderson days. On Sundays is when, and you go, what the fuck are they giving the guy the day off on a Sunday for? So they tend to play their weaker players. Now, the thing that's changed is they only have 3 backups now. 3 position players, maybe 4. So it's harder to give the day off because you got so many pitchers, which I think is a mistake. I think they're babying these pitchers. The guy pitches 1 inning and that's it. And then he can't pitch tomorrow because he pitched 1 inning today. That's ridiculous. These guys are insane, these managers or Gio, whoever's making that decision. Okay, the Indians and the Twins. Cleveland, McKenzie, 2.76 against Ryan, 2.56. What happened yesterday? That's Colorado. I might not have played the game. Cleveland Mini, I didn't play it. They're so hard to predict. I got to go under 7.5 in this game. So I'm taking Mini under 7.5. Again, you got 2 pretty good aces. I don't know if they're aces. They're 2-2 with a 2.76 against 3-2 with a 2.56. I'd hardly call them aces. An ace is like a guy who's 5-0, 4-1 with like Verlander. 2.76, 2.56. Low team. Let's look. Cleveland, Minnesota. Cleveland on the road hits 2.55 with a 3.38 ERA. Mini at home. They hit 2.26 with the 3.81 ERA. These ERAs over 3, I don't know what to do with them. They're like in the NFL, the defenses were all 22, 23. Every team. There was Buffalo. Well, that was really not an accurate defense because they played Miami, New England, and the Jets, and none of them have an offense. So in Buffalo, that's 6 games against weak offensive teams, and they gave up 19 a game. I'd hardly call their defense super, especially in the last 2 minutes of the Kansas City game. They had no defense. Anyway, so that's what I'm looking at is a lot of these teams have ERAs in the 3s, and I'm looking at 7 through 9. So I got to give the starters 6 innings. So here, McKenzie and Ryan, 6 innings, score will be 2-1. And then what happens when the bullpen comes in? So we'll see. Boston and Texas, Bobby Orr, my man. Boston, Davis, 0-1 with a 2.70 ERA against Perez, 1-2 with a 2.1 ERA. Another under. Boston hits, they're on the road, 221, and they have a terrible bullpen, 492. So I can't bet Boston here. It's the under, but Boston's bullpen is bad. But let's see. Texas hits 220 at home with a 3.0 ERA. So it's a little edge to Texas. But I got to play it under again. Texas under 8. I'm not going to lock it because Boston's bullpen is so bad. I mean, it's almost 5. It's 4.92. Now I'll check the stats today and see. I'll do it tonight because these games are all early, and we'll see what happens. Kansas City and Colorado. Kansas City, the worst team in the league. I got Kansas City with a 5.78 ERA, and they hit the road. Colorado is huge at home, 281 batting average, and they have a terrible 497. I told you the lock was Colorado, easy winner, and I said go over, even though it was an 11, and the over got there, but the Colorado lock was easy. You have Lynch for KC, 401 against Gomber for Colorado, 2-3 with the 4.36 ERA. So I can't trust Colorado to win the game like I could yesterday because the pitching's bad. But again, here's an over 11 just because KC's bullpen's so bad. Lynch will probably give up 3 or 4 runs. The bullpen comes up, gives up another 3-4 runs. Colorado's explosive at home. So we're going to go Colorado over 11, which I don't love giving that many points. It's like a football over under in the 70s. You got to be very careful. As I said, KC only hits 204, the 5.78 ERA. So Colorado's going to have a field day. But because Colorado's pitching and their bullpen's so bad, their bullpen's 497 and their pitcher's 436. I look for KC to score some runs. So I think this will be probably a 10-3 game for Colorado. Again, probably should take Colorado, but I don't like their pitcher. 2-3 with a 4.36 ERA. I can't bet that, but I can bet the over. The Rams, no, this isn't. The California Angels aren't the Rams. The Rams are the Dodgers. So we're this California Angels against the Raiders. Sandoval for the Angels, 1-1 with a 2.03 ERA going against Montez for the Raiders, 2-3 with the 3.78 ERA. I think this is a California bet all the way. California hits 247 on the road, 3.80 ERA. You're starting with the 203 guy. Oakland at home hits 194, let's say. Jesus Christ. With the 3.93. So this is all California. 203 pitcher against, we're taking California straight up. The Eagles and the Rams. Here we go. This was a good playoff game once. Buddy Ryan. All right. We got Aaron Nola, a.k.a. of the Yankees. 1-4 at the 3.83 ERA against Consolin for the Rams. 3-0, 1.33 ERA. I'm taking the Rams. enough said. The Rams are an A team. Phillies doesn't have a great bullpen. Phillies bullpen gives up 450, and I think the Rams. I'm almost tempted to lock it. I think the Rams win this game pretty easily. The Bears and the Arizona and the Diamondback and the Snakes. Boy, the Bears suck this year, 12-20. Justin Steele, 1-4 with a 5.32 ERA for the Bears, and Castellanos for Arizona, 2-1 with a 4.32 ERA. Now, yesterday, what did I do? I had Arizona, and they lost, so let's give the Cubs some love. I'm going to go over. Over under is 9. I'm taking the Bears over 9. And Arizona hits 166 at home. How could I take Arizona? 4.84 bullpen, and the Bears are they hit 238 on the road with a 3.30. So they're the better team. I think the Bears win the game too. But they're pitching. I can't take a 5.32 ERA pitcher. He's 1-4, so you can't bet it. But that bolds you to a good over, and the over under of 9. So this game's definitely an over. And the last game, the 49ers against the St. Louis Cardinals, as opposed to the Arizona Cardinals. This is screwing me up. They're in 2 leagues. 49ers, Roden, 4-1 with a 1.80 ERA against Wainwright, 3-3 with a 3.18 ERA. Yesterday, I think I played the 49ers. Yeah, I lost with the 49ers yesterday. I'm not playing them today. Well, Roden with a 1.80. Maybe it's an under. I don't know. St. Louis hits 240 at home with a 4.30 ERA. It's terrible. How did the Niners not win the game yesterday? And the Niners hit 231 with a 4.6. That's why it's the bad ERAs. So you got a 4.6 ERA for the Niners, and you got a 4.3. So you got terrible bullpens for both teams. So I can't, even though I got Roden with a 1.80, I can't count on the Niners to hold them when he comes out in the 6th inning. And this is the problem with baseball now. You know, the guy's going 5-6 innings at the most. So the 1.80 ERA gets you half the game. Maybe these little 5-inning bets, you can take the Niners with Roden. But after that, the bullpens suck. Over under a 7, I'm tempted to go over, even though Roden's got a 1.80 ERA. Wainwright's a 3.18, and it's a pitcher's ballpark, St. Louis. Boy, this is a tough one. I don't, like I said, what did I have yesterday? I had the Niners, and they lost. I'm going to have to go over in this game. We're going to take the 49ers over. I don't love it, but it's 7, and these bullpens will not hold the lead. Yes, Roden with the 1.80 is normally an under, but it's 7. The bullpens, and this is where I really need to study up, is how important does the bullpen get? At what point, like Verlander could easily go 8 innings today, but they still have a decent bullpen. We're here. How long does Roden go? Does he go 6 innings, 5 innings, 8 innings? Now, does the manager know my bullpen sucks and I want to get the guy with the 1.80 ERA? I want to get him 8 innings in. That's how I would. If it was me managing it, this guy would be pitching 8 innings today because my bullpen sucks. And as we go to the art of war, what happens is in the art of war, you go to your strength and stay away from your weakness, which means I want to stay away from my bullpen. And I want to stay with my starter who's got a 1.80 ERA. That's what I would do as a manager. I don't want to let this guy go out after 5 innings, and then I got to go to my bullpen. I'm screwed. I'm not going to win. So I don't know. I assume the manager's an idiot, so he lost yesterday. So we're going to go over. This is a small one. So where I told you the Dodgers and Tampa are bigger bets, but I don't want to lock it. This is a small one, Frisco. So let's review. Houston, Verlander, lock. Pittsburgh, Detroit under 7.5. The Jets, Jets. Miami over 7.5 lock. Tampa Bay under 7.5 strong. The Yankees under 8 lock. Minnesota under 7.5. Texas under 8. Colorado over 11. California, the Rams, the Cubs over 9, and the 49ers over 7. Those are today's picks. You got 3 locks. I can always find a few locks just by the stats. And now we're in May. Now the stats, okay, well, it was cold weather and it's April and the guys are getting used to it. Now the stats should start being true now. We got 40 games in. Now they've got warm weather, so I'm noticing Houston's hitting more. So their batting average, even though it's low going up, is doing that. Now I do the same in college football with Miami. When they went to Van Dyke, even though their stats said they score 25 a game, I knew it was really 35 because I'm watching Van Dyke light it up. So when the change happens, I make the mental note that no. This is with the Eric King, and he sucked, and they sucked in the first 4 or 5 games. And I almost just write a note. No, this is not a 25-point offense. This is a 35-point offense. And but Vegas doesn't catch on. Vegas is sitting there averaging the games out, going, Van Dyke and King are the same. They're not the same. And so when they average them out and the over-under on the game's 48, and they're playing Wake Forest, and it's a 75-point game, and you got the over-under at 49, thank you, God. I mean, that's Lock City because, as I explained yesterday in my silver world and gold world and the 2 different markets, right, the paper and the physical, that this is why we make our own line, right? The own line is the physical market. The Vegas line's the paper market, and that's what's happening. So yesterday I bought a 1/4 ounce of gold, and guess what? The guy didn't have any gold. This guy I go to normally has at least 10 ounces out there, and he probably has more in the back. And I go and I buy a maple leaf or a cougar ant or an eagle, an ounce, and then maybe a 1/4 ounce, and then some silver. Yesterday he had only gold he had was a 1/4 ounce, and I bought it. He has some of these little gold bars, which was and it says 1 ounce on it. I don't like the bars, so I had been buying a lot of ounces lately, so I let it go, and I just bought the 1/4, and I bought and I bought some silver, and even then I buy the buffaloes because I'm buying an ounce of silver. I don't need to pay silver's like $21, so I bought the buffaloes for 26, but the eagle he wanted to sell for 33. Well, why? I'm buying an ounce of silver. Now I have many eagles in silver that are actually $1, and the others are bullion, which means they're an ounce of silver, but they're really not money. I'm not buying it for the dollar. I'm buying it for the ounce of silver, just like gold. I don't care that it's a cougar ant or a maple leaf because I'm buying an ounce of gold. Now, one thing I did hear is that the reason they confiscated the gold before was because the money was backed by gold in the 30s. So in order to print more money, they needed to bring more gold in so they could keep it pegged because they could only print as much money as they had gold. So to print more money in the 30s, they had to get more gold. Now they're not tied. So they will not confiscate the gold because they're not tied to the dollar. They don't, as you can see, they don't need the gold to print, and they're printing and printing and printing. With the ruble going to gold or some form of gold attached to it, the ruble's strengthening, the demand for the ruble goes up. Nobody wants the fat, ugly dollar because she's not backed by gold anymore. So what do I want? I'd rather buy the ruble because it's got some gold attached to it. I don't know. I'm confused. Is it backed by gold? Is the gold attached? I don't understand. Either it's backed by gold or it isn't. So in other words, let's say you have a $1 ruble. I don't know that there's $1 of gold attached to it or 50%. I got to do more research on that, but I do know it is attached to gold in some form, which is going to drive gold up. And gold's really, once we get out of this bullshit COMEX, JP Morgan and the Chinese and the Russians. But see, we're going to play the game with them. So I'm at poker. Okay. So we're going to use the poker example. I know the guy to the neck to the left of me is aggressive. I river the flush. I let him do the betting because he's Mr. Aggressive. I check. And that way he still doesn't know what I got. And that way I get the call. So I check because I know he's aggressive. He bets 35-40. I make it 200. But because I checked, he doesn't know what I got. I didn't reveal my hand till the 200. Then he calls because he said, I can't put you on a flush. You check. Exactly. I let him do it. This is what we're doing with gold. Instead of getting pissed off that why is COMEX fixing it? Excuse me. What can we do about it? This is horrible. Oh my God, gold's not at its price. Instead of doing all that, what are we doing? We're sitting there going, we're gonna let the guy on the left bet. We're gonna let COMEX keep the price low so we can buy it. So we can buy silver at 26 an ounce. It's really I'll give you a figure in a minute. We're gonna let gold stay low so we can buy it. I bought a quarter ounce for $500 yesterday. Okay. Or if I buy an ounce, it's like 1,900. And so I'm going to play the COMEX game. Instead of getting upset, I know it's going to go to the moon. And I know the triggers the ruble, and I know the triggers the war, and I know the triggers Biden printing. And I know, and it's just, but it's not it's going to happen Tuesday at noon. It's going to happen soon, but you don't know when. But you know it's going to happen. And that's what I'm telling you. It's going to go through the moon. We just don't know when. But this is the start of it. Is the ruble and the yuan going to gold, and they have all the gold. And we keep printing and printing. We almost want it to blow up, is what it seems like. God knows why the government would want to ruin their own country. I guess because they're in bed with the Chinese and the Russians, and they're really China and Russia running our country, not the U.S., which is what it appears to be. One thing I did see on a thing, and check it out, is people are getting passports, second passports to Portugal. Also Costa Rica. So when you want to leave America because it's becoming communist China, those are the two places that people are going. So what I heard is we're going to have to compete. Now here comes competition in. Everybody wants the ruble because it has gold to it. So what are we going to do? We're going to have to put gold either to our digital dollar or our real dollar. But let's say the digital dollar comes out. We got to compete. So we've got to start backing our dollar with gold. Hence, the demand for gold goes up. Now, when you reprice the US dollar backed by gold, you take, please give a quick recap. Yes, sir. Let me finish my gold story in 2 minutes, and then I will give you the recap. So to back it by gold, I think it's ME2 is what it's called or whatever. It's the total dollars out there, which is trillions divided by, supposedly we got 8,300 ounces of gold, which I don't even think that. I think we have like 2,000 because you can see we're printing it and we're selling it. We don't, where's that come from? That's our gold that we're selling to the public. That price was $87,000 an ounce. So if we are conservative there and say 8,300, what do you think silver is? Silver is like, let's say 1/10 of that. So 87,000 divided by 10 puts silver at $8,700. So let's say it's 6,000. Let's say, a little bit less. $6,000 silver, that's $23. So we'll let it happen and we won't get angry and we'll go with it. And that's what will happen. Okay, Marball 302, here's your recap. Verlander, lock. Pittsburgh, Detroit under 7.5. The Jets, Jets, Jets. Miami over 7.5, lock number 2. Tampa Bay under 7.5. Yankees under 8, lock number 3. Minnesota under 7.5. Texas under 8. Colorado over 11. The Angels, the Rams, the Bears over 9, and the 49ers over 7. Those are your plays. Good luck. That's the recap. If you have questions, please let me know. So back to the gold. So we're going to let Comex be the guy to our left who's aggressive. So yes, they're keeping there, but see, you have to understand. I understood the guy to my left is aggressive, and he's going to make the bet for me. And this way, I can hide my hand. He won't think it's a flush. Then I can bet 200. He's going to call, because now had I let out with the 200, he probably goes. He probably first of all, I couldn't have let out with 200. I probably would have had to lead out with 50, and he calls, and I only win 50. This way, by checking, he leads out with 35. I can then make it 200 to make it look like a bluff, and he calls, and I actually get 200 out of him by letting him do his thing. You're welcome, Marball, anytime. So I let him do his thing. So that's what we're doing with Comex. We're letting JP Morgan keep the price low for us, and we're buying and buying and buying and buying and buying. And eventually you catch the cheater, and Jordan got caught and had to go play minor league ball. I was talking to him about that yesterday at poker. I says he was caught cheating betting. That's why he went to play minor league ball. It wasn't about – we were seeing like a commercial for MGM, like their site, like the betting site. And I said, can you believe they're betting with all these sports? It's all corrupt, and they're having betting. And then that's when I said Jordan went to the minor leagues was because he had to. You're an all-star. You're one of the best players in the league behind Jordan, Bird, behind Magic Johnson, Bird, and Isaiah, and Kareem. He's the next one. And remember, he couldn't beat any of them. He never beat Bird, and he never beat Isaiah. Just the last time they played. So Isaiah beat him like 5 times. Bird beat him 5 or 6. He never got to the finals because he couldn't beat them to play Magic, and he wouldn't have beat Magic and Kareem. I guarantee you that. Bird couldn't. Isaiah had a hard time. Jordan wasn't going to do it. But that's why he went to play minor league, because he did it. So eventually the cheater got caught, and that's my point. So eventually what will happen is they're going to be forced, because the ruble is getting gold. And what would you rather have, the dollar or ruble backed by gold? Everybody will take the ruble backed by gold. It's an automatic. It's the prettier girl, right? I can have this kind of chunky girl. I can have this beautiful model. Well, of course you're going to want the model. So everybody's going to run to the ruble. So the only way anybody can compete is to now back their thing by gold. And that's going to trigger the U.S. to come out and get more gold backing on the dollar, because nobody's going to want it. It's going to zero as it stands now. But the ruble, either way, gold's going to the moon, because Comex will not be able to keep the price down, because as they start competing, they want the gold value to go up. That gives them more dollars. It gives them more, more fun. So that's what the Russians and U.S. are going to want, is the gold price to go up. But once that happens, we'll never be able to find it. You won't find an ounce. And if you do, it's going to cost you $20,000, $30,000 to buy the ounce. What I'm telling you is buy it now. Get it now at 1,900. It's a steal. And silver at 27 is a steal, because once the shit starts hitting the fan, which it's doing, you're not going to be able to find it. So like, as I said, I go into my coin store yesterday. This guy always has 10 ounces of Eagles and Maple Leafs out there, and I buy an ounce for $19.50 or whatever. Always. Yesterday, no gold. 1/4 ounce and a few these bar, 1 ounce bars, because you couldn't find any coins. I don't like the bars. I like the coins. So I just got the 1/4 ounce. Are you getting more in? Yeah, I'll probably get more in. Yeah, but they'll be gone. In other words, now the demand is picking up and they're going, oh, he's got an ounce. I'm going to go buy it. So now they won't stay in inventory. They won't stay on the shelf. You just got to be lucky to go when he has it, or call him up saying, can you call? And you're probably number 50 on the list of, yeah, when I get it in, I'm going to call these guys. So now the demand to buy it at 1900 is there. So what happens? Now it goes up. They start going, wait, I'm going to sell it. The premium's going to go up to 2100 now because I can. The demand's there. I got people, but I can't keep it on the shelf. Now in economics land, if you can't keep it on the shelf, you raise the price until you meet the equilibrium. So if the demand is here and you're selling it here and you can't keep it, what do? You raise the price to meet the demand. So when you get the new golden, the 10 ounces, you sell it up here because the demand's here. And then as as the demand, I'll pay 3,000 for it. Well, I'm going to raise my price to 3,000. And that's what's happening. So as they can't find it. Now, my guy always had it. Now, you're ahead of the game. We know what's happening. We're buying it. We're taking advantage of COMEX cheating, right? And COMEX is about to be gone to the minor leagues, JP Morgan, because they're being found out now that the market's crashing and Bitcoin's crashing. People are waking, like they thought, well, I don't like gold because everybody's telling me not to like gold. But I want to make money. I'll go into Bitcoin because I can buy Bitcoin for 10 grand and it goes up to 50 grand. Oh, I made all this money. Well, wait a minute. Bitcoin was 50 grand, now 28 grand. I'm losing money in Bitcoin. When I go get my car, I got a Toyota Camry. When I go into the Toyota, I have a long conversation with the sales manager while I'm waiting for my oil change. And he made money on Bitcoin. And I keep telling him, take your profit. It goes to the earlier point of when you won 5 grand on a Saturday in college football. You don't want to give it back. That's the most painful feeling. So I'm telling him, take your fucking profit. You've made 50 grand in Bitcoin. Pretend you're at a poker table or you're at a blackjack table. Take your profit. Take your winnings off the table, and then you can play with what you started and you made 50 grand. He won't do it. I'm like, take it, buy gold. Gold is cheap now. You can get gold for 1900 and silver, and then let that go to the moon. So you can take your winnings of Bitcoin and go. But Bitcoin isn't anything. It's not gold. It's not going to keep. I'm just being, I know a lot of people like Bitcoin because of the freedom, and I do too. I like the concept, but it's not money. I can't go buy a car with it. And until I can buy a car or buy dinner or use it at Target or Kroger's, I am not sold that Bitcoin's money. It's, to me, PayPal. If I want to give you $100, I PayPal you $100. You get the PayPal, you get the $100, and off you go, and you're all happy. That's, to me, Bitcoin. I can send you money, but Bitcoin itself is not the money because it can't be used. And that's my point. If it can't be used, there's no point in having the Bitcoin and calling it money and thinking, oh, it'll keep me, I won't buy gold, I'll do this. Well, gold's going to go through the roof, as I just explained. I mean, what do you see? You see the ruble being backed by gold. You don't see it being backed by Bitcoin. And these countries that accept Bitcoin, is not the currency, it's their money is, they're allowing Bitcoin to be used. But if I'm running a store and I'm getting paid in Bitcoin, all of a sudden the value went from 40 grand to 28 grand, I'm not too happy. However, that's what's happening with the US dollar. You just don't see it. The dollar it's a $20 bill, but it only buys $10 worth of goods. So you don't see it go from 20 to 15, but that's what's happening. That's why I'm saying sell your dollars before the $20 bill goes to 5, buy $20 worth of silver, and then the silver is going to go up to $1,000 an ounce. Your $20 bill is going to 0. That's what's going to happen. That's what's happening now. That's why oil, you go fill your car up with gas, is $4.39 in Michigan, because the dollar's losing value. They're not raising the price on gas. It takes more dollars to buy the gas. So it looks like they're raising the price, but they're not. The dollar's being hurt, and that's what's happening. So that's what you got to do. So you always take your winnings, just like my poker story from yesterday. I got up. I made sure I was going to quit a winner, because if I would have lost $200 yesterday after hitting the first hand for 175, I could not do this show. I'd be so pissed off, because I know better. Whenever you take the lead, whenever you get up, you make sure you do not lose it. You still play, but if I'm up now, I'm playing poker, I'm up 175, and, it's okay. I am not walking away from the table down 100. I will not do it. If I got to win 25, I'm walking away winning 25. I'm not giving back the whole 175. So if you just use the theory in everything, so if you use the theory in stocks, if you use the theory in football betting, if you use the theory in dollars, it's the same theory. Anything losing value or going down, you want to get the hell out of it and go the other way. That's what you need to do. That's how you're successful. That's how you're a winner. I'm much happier telling you I won $133 last night than saying, well, I lost 100, but I was up 175, because on the first hand I rivered the nut flush, and the guy paid me off, and then I was stupid enough to sit there and lose it back. I mean, that's not going to happen, because I do not do things stupidly, and I do not get a big lead and lose it. It doesn't happen to me. So that's what that's how you have to think. So again, Bitcoin, you were way up. Now it's coming down. Now it's controlled, just like everything else. Got to get out. Really, the only thing I see that isn't controlled is I'm going to say football cards. The Jerry Rice is still 100,000. It's free market. It's gone to 100,000, and it's not like the government's going to come in and lower it down. It's free market. The Joe Montana rookie, it's $100,000 for the PSA 10. What the fuck? So, and the government can't get involved in that. They can't make it worth less. The Jordan rookie, the Brady rookies, the Mantle cards, the Mays cards, they are not affected by the government, and look what it is. So in the free market, the Joe Montana rookie PSA 10 goes to 100 grand. Really? And gold, you want to tell me gold's only worth 1,800, but you can see the difference between the free market, Joe Montana, and a fixed market, gold. And what I'm telling you is gold's going to get to the Joe Montana free market, and that's what we're waiting for. But as long as COMEX is doing us a favor and keeping it here, we're going to buy it here until it goes up to there. And that's what we're waiting for, which will happen. It's a fact. This is not my opinion. This is me sharing my class with you, which I've done on 3 episodes. I've given you my economics notes from my master's program in the 90s, and nothing's changed conceptually with free market economics. And that's what's happening. So that's what you need to understand. And everybody gets frustrated. And a lot of these commentators are idiots. Well, why is people buying gold if the price of gold is going down? And I shared that yesterday, because this is not the free market. The free market's the physical gold, and the fixed market is the COMEX and the ET. Do not be in ETFs. Do not, and gold stocks should go through the roof. And I'll tell you why in a second. ETFs do not give you physical gold. You only can make money with physical gold, the coin, the bar, not with the. You cannot make money thinking you have physical gold with an ETF. You don't. So don't get fooled by that. Now, why is Newmont Mining going to go through the roof? Because Newmont Mining, not only is the price in COMEX, as far as it's $60 a share, the inventory of the mine is at $1,100 or $1,200 for some reason. They're valuing their inventory of gold at that price. Well, what did I just say? it's going to be revalued at $80,000 an ounce, not 1,100. So their inventory today makes their earnings X. But what happens when gold gets revalued to $87,000 an ounce, even $50,000 an ounce? Their inventory at 1,100 goes to, let's say, 45,000. What do you think that does to their earnings? What do you think that does to their stock price? So if you understand that concept, that the gold will be revalued because of the Russians and we have to compete with the ruble, once you understand that, and then you know the gold price is going up, their inventory is going to go up, which makes their earnings go up, which makes the stock price go up. Because everybody's looking for a stock to get into. Well, you ain't going to make money at Microsoft or Apple or those, because their earnings are going to drop, because you can't sell an iPhone for $1,100 and nobody has money to buy it. That's the key to it. But gold, the gold, you're going to have money in stock and you're going to go, oh, wait, fuck, look at Newmont. Their earnings just went through the roof. I'm going to move my money into this gold stock because I understand their inventory went up in value 20 times. That's the key. Now I'm waiting to buy Newmont. I had it and I sold it, and I had it and I sold it. And I was doing that 100 times. And then now it was 85 and now it's down to 61 or so. And I'm out waiting. And then once it kind of, I don't know where the bottom's probably 52. It'll go there because people are just selling because they need money. It really makes no sense. Why would you sell, that's like, I don't know, what's a good analogy? I don't know. I guess that's like folding pocket aces in poker because you're afraid to lose. Well, I need money. I'm going to fold pocket aces? No, I don't think so. So it doesn't make sense. Some of the stocks they're selling, but they're just dumping everything because they need money. Margin call, a lot of it is. And why people still invest in stocks on margin, I don't know. If I buy 1,000 shares, I got the money to do it. I don't sit there with 1,000 shares and go, oh, I'm only going to give you 5,000, put margin on the rest. That's a sure way to go broke because you got to cover it. So I buy what I can afford, and then that's it. So that's what you do. Anyway, so look for gold and silver to go through the roof. Take advantage of COMEX, keeping the price down. Good luck finding gold. It's going to be very hard to find. So whatever you can get at 1,900, 1,950 an ounce, jump on. I think it's 1,890 because gold's down to 1,800. Thank you, JP Morgan. The quarter ounce I bought should have been 600. It was 500. Now, why is the price down? Nobody's selling. This is the thing I love. Nobody's selling gold. Who's selling gold? Nobody's selling gold. Everybody's buying. The Russians and the Chinese are buying as much gold as they can get. And that's what's going to destroy COMEX, because when COMEX does their bullshit, they're going to want to buy the gold. But what COMEX does is they don't put the gold out on the market. So they'll sell it, but there's no gold to buy because it's not real. And eventually the market will weed that out, and that'll be the end. And then Joe Montana, 100 grand, ounce of gold, 100 grand. And if you're smart and you buy it at 1,800, so if the Joe Montana rookie card you could get for 1,800, would you buy it? Of course, but it's $100,000. So you could get a PSA 10 for 1,800, his real rookie card, you would buy it. And that's what gold is basically. So, everybody gets frustrated. Why is gold price going down? It's manipulated. That's why. So if I hear another idiot on YouTube ask that question, why is gold going? When is it going to go up? I can't take it. They're so fucking stupid. And I give them negatives and I write descriptions. If you go into some of these, you'll see Teaser King. And I'm like, just ripping the guy. Like, you can't use charts on price fixing. Oh, it's going to break loose and go to 2,200. And I write in there, no, it's going to about 50,000, you morons. They don't have a clue, but you can't listen to them, because if you listen to them, you get trapped. again, the game is the government doesn't want you to buy it. So the government with JP Morgan are keeping the price down because they know that you don't need the government if you own gold because you're going to be in great shape because you're going to make a fortune and you won't need the government. The government wants to give you these $1,400 checks, and now you're dependent on the government like a drug addict or something. And that's what they want. They're trying to fail the country and bail it out with these digital currency crap. That's the same crap as the dollars. You don't want to get trapped. You don't want the government telling you what you can buy and what you can't buy. Oh, you want to go to Amsterdam? Sorry, you can't. Oh, you want to go to England? Sorry, you can't. And the other thing you got to realize is the euro is going out. These countries with these negative interest rates, and they print, and they have high inflation with negative interest rates, are going to, if you notice, the euro is down to 105. You watch, that euro is going out. The yen, the Japanese, is going out. That's why it's a little surge in U.S. dollars, because it's the only thing they can do is buy U.S. dollars. U.S. dollars would be, if I was them, I'd be buying rubles, but I don't think Russia lets anybody buy them. I have friends in Russia. I can give them money and say, buy rubles. Anyway, so that's what's happening in the world. Please buy your gold if you can find it. It's getting harder and harder. You'll go on JM Bullion, or you can call my guy at the shop. Let me show you. I'm going to show you. Here's Teaser King's ticket yesterday. I bought a 1/4 ounce of gold. This is yesterday's. A 1/4 ounce of gold. Here's the guy's store. 1/4 ounce of gold and a roll of silver, and that's what I spent. And you can see it. This is the guy's store. The phone number is Redford Jewelry and Coin. The phone number is 734-667-1204. It's in Plymouth, Michigan. If you call up, you can order. He will ship it at a very cheap price, second day FedEx, for $20. I know, because when I was in Alabama, I would call him up and buy from him. Now, the kicker is you cannot use Visa or debit cards. You can either send a check, or my advice is to do PayPal. So the way you pay me, I would pay him, see what he has, get his prices first. It's like when you bet, what's the line? And then you make the bet. You never say the bet first, because they're going to fuck you on the line. So you sit there and you go, all right, how much is your gold, if you have any, and your silver? And then there's always going to be the Eagles, American, and there's going to be the Maple Leafs and the Cougarans. And then in silver, there's going to be Maple Leafs, and then the Buffaloes, which are silver, but they're not money. And then the Eagles, which is actually like the $1. And just say, how much is the price? And then you order what you can. You send him PayPal. He will ship it to you. And it's $15 to Alabama, FedEx, second day. It came, boom, I went to FedEx. They delivered to the house, but I was working, so I'd go to the FedEx on my lunch, and there it is. It was all packed nice and neat. I looked, I got it. And it was $15. It's a joke. There's no sales tax because it's money. And so if you need any, try this guy first. I've checked him out. He's a very good price. He gets a lot of inventory. He's a better price than JM Bullion. That's what I'm saying. And there's no tax. And then the shipping's cheap. Like yesterday, I just gave him cash. Now, in the store, you can use credit card, and I've done that too. And that's why my credit card's a little high. I went and bought probably $10,000 of gold from the guy already. Panicking, going, he's got inventory. I got to get it before it goes up. And that's what really mind fucks you is you're going, God, I don't have a lot of cash. And then you realize, yeah, but I got all this gold and silver. So I have the value in gold and silver, not in cash, which is what I want. But you look at it going, I only got, so much in dollars. And it's a little bit like, so make sure you have enough in dollars to pay rent and food, car payment, car insurance for, $5-6 bucks. And then now if you're working, you got your paychecks, and now you keep buying gold till you can't find it anymore. When you can't find it, or you can find it and it's going to cost you 20 grand, that's when you're like, okay, I'm fucked. I don't have 20 grand to buy it now. Maybe you start buying quarter ounces, which are going to be 1/4. So you can get that for 5 grand for a quarter ounce. I just paid 500 for a quarter ounce. So I am thinking ahead, which is what professors do. And I'm going, okay, let's see where we are in 6 months or a year. And that's what I'm thinking. Anyway, so that's what you need to do. And it's all based, the ruble going to gold is what's really triggering all this. If you have money, you'd want it in rubles, but me and you can't buy rubles. Now, my friend in Russia can buy me rubles. She can't find a job. The economy's bad over there, but the ruble went from 79 to 150. Now it's 65 going. It'll be 25, in a month or two, because they're backed by gold. They get the man. Now, I don't know how much they're backed by gold, but there is gold involved in it. So therefore, I would keep that in play, that it's going to be much more desirable to buy a ruble, much more demand. So pretty soon, where we were 79, we would buy 79 rubles with the dollar. It's going to be pretty soon, it's going to be $1 is going to buy 1 ruble. And that's where it's headed. But you'd rather buy gold than the ruble. But what's the rest of the world going to do? Shit, I don't want dollars. I want rubles. And once you got the petro out of the way, it's going to rubles and gold, and it's now going to U.S. dollars. U.S. dollars dead. So you know this now, and get out of it. Nobody wants it because they put sanctions on people. And now the only reason it was the lead currency was because of the gas. Saudi Arabia said, you got to pay us in dollars. And now that's gone. And it looks like Biden is controlled by the Chinese and the Russians and wants the U.S. to collapse, because he can't be that stupid. Yes, he's stupid, but he can't be. There's too many people there that, believe me, they're not that stupid. They want this to happen. They want the U.S. to crumble, and that's what they're doing. And it's unfortunate. So we got to be smart and get ahead of the game. You got to buy food. Food's going to be really tough because we get it all from Ukraine and Russia, and we're not going to be able to get it. So we're going to be fucked, and just be careful. It'll be a lot of fruits and vegetables, I think. Maybe some meat, because I think we still get the meat. We can get that from Argentina or still in the U.S. So things that are still made in the U.S. we'll be able to buy, but not anything wheat, corn, all that stuff. Good luck getting it. Anyway, I think that's about it. Any other questions? Let me go through baseball one more time. Houston's a lock today, Verlander. Pittsburgh, Detroit under 7.5. The Mets, Miami over 7.5 is a lock. Tampa Bay under 7.5. The Yankees under 8's a lock. Minnesota under 7.5. Texas under 8. Colorado over 11. California, the Rams, the Bears over 9, and the Niners over 7. And the Bears are the Cubs, not the White Sox. NBA Game 7, take the home team. I think the game's in Boston. Take Boston. The home team wins Game 7 a high percentage of the time. In the finals, just you're going to bet the winner. You're going to bet the loser back. Game 1 usually goes to the home team. Bet the loser back the next all the way through the series. Now, if the visitor wins Game 1, Game 2 is a lock to take the home team. So not only are you betting a loser, but now they can't go down 2-0 at home. You'll see them really play. So unless there's a major injury, you bet the loser back in these conference finals, because you got very even teams. And then we'll see about the finals when we get there. But take the home teams today. I think it's Boston, and I think it's I don't know the other. Dallas. Is it Dallas, Phoenix? So take Phoenix and Boston, I think, They're both the home teams. That's the NBA for you. I think that's it. I can't wait for football. I did a draft video. I can do another one. Basically, if you were smart, you would take Georgia's players, as many as you could, because they're such a good defense. Why their linebacker went so late, somebody got a steal. And then I thought the best quarterback was Zappy from Western Kentucky. Leave it to New England to get him, and leave it to Tennessee to draft freaking Willis. Like, what are you thinking, man? Watch him in college. He sucked. So why is he going to be a good pro? I don't understand that. If you suck in college, you're not going to be a good pro. Conversely, you can be good in college and not be a good pro. But if you're good in college, Joe Burrow, chances are you'll be a good pro. But if you're a bad college player, you're not going to be a good pro. Montana was a good college. Brady, you never saw that much. Michigan was all fucked up with Drew Henson and Brady. But mostly, the guy, like this Van Dyke from Miami, he'll be a stud. Burrow's a stud. There's a couple of really good college ones coming out. But I think Van Dyke will be great. That's what you look for. This Wake Forest quarterback, Hartman, I think, comes out next year. He'll be a stud. I mean, he's great. So, that's what you're looking for. The guy who's good in college, more than likely, will be good in pros. The guy who's not good in college, more than likely, he's not going to be good in the pros. Against lesser competition, he wasn't any good. And then you got to be careful about the fake Alabama. Because of their scheme, they look better than they are. But Georgia showed you that they're not very good. So anyway, www.teaserking.com. Questions, comments, please let me know. If you're confused about gold or silver or betting strategies or poker or baseball or any of that, please email me and we will do a video. Or please ask me here, like Marball 302, gave me comments. Please give me comments. That's what I'm here. That's why I'm doing it live, so we can do comments. And be careful watching these idiots on YouTube talk about gold and silver, looking at charts. Just turn it off. Just say you're an idiot and turn it off. Nobody who like me, there is no chart going to tell you gold's going to be 80,000 because you can't chart it. You can't say, well, gold will go to 2,200. That's bullshit. It's whatever Morgan Stanley wants it until it gets out of COMEX. Once it's trapped in COMEX, the goal of Morgan Stanley is to keep the price down. That's it. Because the government wants the price low because they don't want people buying gold and silver. Because if the price is low, people go, because 99% of people don't know what I just taught you. And they'll go, oh, I don't want gold or silver. Look, it doesn't go anywhere. So they want to keep the price down to make it look like it doesn't go anywhere. But we know it's going to go, and that's what we do. But when you see these guys and they go, why is gold price going down and people buying gold? As soon as you hear that, you turn it off going, this guy is an idiot. He has no concept of what he's doing. I do not want to listen to that. One last thought. So I used to listen to sports talk radio in the car. And this one station, the fans would call in and give them their 2 cents worth, talking about the Lions or the Tigers, whatever. And some guy would call in, and it got to the point where I go, I don't want to hear what this guy's opinion is. He's an idiot. The caller, I'm like, well, why do I want to listen to the caller? I'm not going to learn anything from the caller. I don't want it. It's a waste of time. So I stopped listening to the callers calling in with their 2 cents. Who cares? Who really gives a shit what Joe from Detroit has to say about anything? I don't know who Joe is. I don't know his statistics, his background. What do I care what he thinks about, this, that, Patricia or the Lions or the Tigers? What do I care? And so that's my last thought. I don't really care about these people that call in. So anyway, football, you bet the defense, the quarterback, the coach. Baseball, the coaches are really, all they do is they got to set the right lineups. You're betting the pitching and a little bit of the hitting. I mean, it's really the pitching and the bullpen is what you're looking for. And the pitching can control. Verlander can shut out Washington today, but look at yesterday. Washington scored like 13 runs. So the pitcher controls the game. If it's a good pitcher, you cannot hit a good pitcher. So the pitcher will get you the W. That's why we locked Verlander today. So keep that in mind. All right, everybody, I'm going to let you go. It's 1 o'clock. The game starts soon. I want to make sure people can get to the video. If they haven't, if they go on the site, the game start in a little bit. All right, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. I hope I make you a lot of money, and go buy your gold and silver before you can't, or it gets too expensive, and then you're going, shit, I wish I would have listened to the professor. I'm telling you that because I know it. It's not my opinion. This is what will happen. It's just a matter of time till the curtain's pulled back and everybody sees that gold and silver is the place to be in to survive and make money. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Have a great Sunday.